The prickly pear cactus is such a powerful symbol in Mexico that it occupies a prime spot on Mexico's national flag. The plant was considered sacred by the ancient Aztecs, and modern-day Mexicans eat it, drink it, and even use it in medicines and shampoos. Now scientists have come up with a new use for the bright green plant, producing renewable energy. Known locally as nopal, the prickly pear is farmed on a massive scale in Mexico. Over the years, only the edible soft inner flesh has been used. The cactus's thick outer layer, i.e., husk, with all those spines, had always been viewed as a waste product until researchers developed a biogas generator to turn the husks into electricity. The pilot project dedicated to developing the Cactus biogas generator began in the south of Mexico City. The area produces 200,000 tons a year of prickly pear cactus, up to 10 tons of which ends up as waste on the floor of the cactus market each day. Then, a local green energy startup company got the idea to turn that waste into energy. The generator is now in place at the cactus market, where the vendors are enthusiastic about this new way to utilize the tons of cactus husks that once went directly into the trash. The prickly pear has a number of advantages over other biofuel crops, such as wheat, sugarcane, and soybeans. For one thing, only the husk of the cactus is used for generating biofuel, while its inner flesh is still preserved for food. Therefore, using the plant as a fuel source will not put pressure on food prices. Moreover, the cactus requires minimum water, and thus is not grown on traditional agricultural pasture. This means that no increased competition arises for the water or land presently used for food production. The project in Mexico City has brought new hope to reducing the use of fossil fuels. If it can be expanded, the prickly pear could be the key to Mexico's energy future. The concept of a travel document, which shows a person is under a ruler's protection while in a foreign land, has probably existed since rulers and states were first invented. But the earliest mention of an object which we might recognize as a passport appeared in about 450 BC. The Hebrew Bible states that Nehemiah, an official serving King Artaxerxes of ancient Persia, asked permission to travel to Judah. The king agreed and gave Nehemiah a letter to the governors of the province beyond the river, requesting safe passage for him as he traveled through their lands. Later, in the medieval Islamic Caliphate, a form of passport was the bara'ah, a receipt for taxes paid. Only people who paid their taxes were permitted to travel to different regions of the Caliphate. In medieval Europe, on the other hand, travel documents were issued by local authorities, and generally contained a list of towns and cities which the document holder was permitted to enter or pass through. On the whole, documents were not required for travel to seaports, which were considered open trading points, but documents were required to travel inland from seaports. King Henry V of England is credited with having invented the first true passport, as a way of helping his subjects prove who they were in foreign lands. The earliest reference to these documents is found in a 15th century Act of Parliament, while the term passport came into use about a century later. Nevertheless, passports were not generally required for international travel until the First World War. It was at this time that passports as we would recognize them today began to be used. Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States, was not only a great politician but also a highly accomplished scientist and inventor. Of his many achievements, probably the least well-known are his accomplishments in music. He invented an instrument for which both Mozart and Beethoven composed music, the glass harmonica. In 1761, while living in England, Franklin heard a performer playing musical glasses. Franklin was charmed by the music, but felt that there was a better way to create the same sound. He had a glassmaker create 37 hemispheres made of glass, with each being a different size and thickness to produce different pitches. The glass hemispheres were color-coded with paint to identify the notes. Franklin ran an iron rod through a hole in the top of each hemisphere so that they could nest together from largest to smallest. He linked all of this to a device shaped like a spinning wheel, with a foot control that turned the rod, making the glass hemispheres rotate. Franklin moistened his fingers and held them against the rims of the glass hemispheres as they turned, producing a unique sound. He mastered the instrument and took it to parties and gatherings to play for his friends and acquaintances. The instrument became so popular that thousands were built and sold. But musical fashions changed. Music was moving out of the relatively small halls of Mozart's day into the large concert halls of the 19th century, and without amplification, the glass harmonica simply couldn't be heard. Concert reviews from the period mourned the fact that the harmonica sounded wonderful only when it could be heard. So, alas, Franklin's marvelous invention was ultimately abandoned. The popularity of the instrument faded early in the 19th century, but it is still played occasionally today. Morgan's Wonderland, located in San Antonio, Texas, is a theme park geared mainly toward mentally or physically disabled children. The park was built by Gordon Hartman, a former real estate developer. The creation of the park was inspired by his daughter, Morgan, who suffers from severe cognitive delay and physical challenges. The world's first ultra-accessible family fun park, Morgan's Wonderland opened in the spring of 2010. Admission for guests with special needs is free, and fees for the general public are set at a much discounted price so that people of all ages and abilities can come together and play in a fun and safe environment. Completely wheelchair accessible, the park features 25 acres of attractions including rides, playgrounds, a catch-and-release fishing lake, and picnic areas throughout the park. The rides are custom designed to accommodate wheelchair riders so that every family member can enjoy the fun. The adapted rides include the off-road adventure, where guests can test their driving skills in sporty vehicles. Moreover, each visitor is offered the option to wear a GPS adventure band, which allows them to keep track of each other while in the park. The band also enables them to take part in electronic activities. For example, when the riders scan the band at the off-road adventure, a photo will be taken and sent to their email. In June 2017, Morgan's Wonderland celebrated the opening of Morgan's Inspiration Island. The new expansion is composed of 5 themed splash pads and a river boat adventure ride. The wheelchair guests can transfer out of their chairs into unique, waterproof chairs and enjoy the splash park without risking damage to their personal wheelchairs. Morgan taught me that there's more to life in many ways than what I saw before, said Hartman. The blessing that Morgan has brought is beyond anything that I ever could have imagined and could explain.